When Daniel told his wife to quit her job, he didn't really want her to. He just wanted to see whether she loved him for who he was or for what he could provide. Daniel and Maya were the kind of couple people envied, young, successful, and madly in love. Daniel was a well-known financial analyst in a big city firm, while Maya was an architect with dreams as tall as the skyscrapers she designed. Together, they built a life that looked perfect from the outside. Luxury apartment, candlelit dinners, surprise vacations, laughter echoing through every corner. But perfection is fragile. And Daniel, beneath his calm smile, carried a growing fear. You see, Daniel had seen too many people around him fall apart, not because of financial losses, but because love turned out to be conditional. He'd watched friends get abandoned the moment money ran dry. He always told himself Maya was different. But lately, something changed. Maya had become distant. Her laughter felt forced, her compliments rehearsed. When Daniel tried to share his worries about work or dreams of a simpler life, she'd sigh and say, "Daniel, not everyone wants to live small. We worked hard for this life. Let's not throw it away." That sentence haunted him. One night, sitting in his office, Daniel scrolled through a viral video, a social experiment about a man testing his fiancée's loyalty by pretending to lose everything. Daniel laughed at first, but then he stopped. What if he did the same? What if he tested Maya, not with fake poverty, but with a simple question that revealed her heart? That night, when Maya returned from work, Daniel was sitting on the couch, his face serious. Daniel softly, "Maya, can we talk?" Maya smiling, "That sounds serious. What did you do now, Daniel?" "Nothing. I've been thinking about us, about our future, Maya." "Okay." Daniel carefully, "I want you to leave your job." Maya frowning, "Excuse me? What do you mean leave my job?" "Daniel, just take a break, spend more time at home with me." Her smile faded. The silence between them turned heavy. "Maya, Daniel, are you serious? You know how much I love my work." "Daniel, I know. But lately we've been so busy chasing money that we forgot each other. I want us to reconnect." Maya shaking her head, "That's not fair. You wouldn't ask me this if you really understood me." He nodded slowly, hiding the truth that this wasn't about control, it was a test, a painful, dangerous test. That night, Maya slept facing away from him in the dark. Daniel stared at the ceiling, wondering if he had made a mistake. The next morning, Maya left early. No goodbye kiss, no breakfast together. When Daniel came home that evening, she was already on the couch scrolling through her phone. "Daniel, rough day." "Maya, I quit." Daniel's eyes widened. "What?" Maya coldly, "You asked me to, didn't you?" "So I did." But her tone wasn't love, it was bitterness. And when Daniel hugged her, she didn't hug back. That night, she cried quietly when she thought he was asleep. And Daniel realized his experiment wasn't just testing her, it was breaking her. Over the next few days, Maya changed. Fair became quieter, less energetic. She stopped laughing at his jokes. She spent long hours staring out the window. But something else happened too. She started noticing the world around her. The neighbors, the kids playing outside, the sound of rain. She began painting again, something she hadn't done in years. One afternoon, Daniel came home early and found her sketching a small house surrounded by trees. "Daniel, that's beautiful. Where's that?" Maya smiling faintly, "Just a place in my mind, somewhere peaceful." For a moment he saw the woman he fell in love with, simple, creative, unguarded. But then her expression darkened. "Maya, Daniel, be honest. Why did you really ask me to quit?" He froze. "Daniel, because I wanted us to be closer." Maya looking away, "Or because you wanted to see if I'd obey." That sentence hit him like a punch. And in that moment, Daniel realized his experiment was no longer just about love. It was about trust, ego, and fear. The house felt colder now, not because of the weather, but because of what Daniel's experiment had done to the warmth between them. Every morning, Maya sat by the window with her cup of tea, staring outside. No makeup, no rush, no office calls, just silence. Daniel watched her from the doorway. The woman who once woke up smiling, now barely spoke. He thought seeing her at home would bring them closer. Instead, it built a wall. One evening, while Daniel worked on his laptop, Maya walked in holding a small envelope. Maya quietly, "Daniel, this came for me." "Daniel, what is it?" "Maya, a message from my old firm. They want me back. They said they need me for a project in Dubai." He looked up, trying to hide his emotions. "Daniel, and what did you say?" Maya hesitant. I told them I'd think about it. Daniel forcing a smile. That's good. You should think. But deep down, Daniel was scared. What if she chose her career over their marriage? What if his worst fear, that her love depended on success, turned out to be true? That night, Maya slept early. Daniel sat alone, staring at the envelope. He could have been honest, told her it was just a test, but he couldn't, not yet, because he wasn't ready for the answer. Days passed. Maya became more independent again, going out for walks, sketching more, spending time with their elderly neighbor, Mrs. Evelyn. Daniel noticed something strange. The more Maya stepped away from her old job, the happier she looked. Not with him, but with herself. One afternoon she found Daniel in the kitchen making coffee. Maya softly. Daniel, can I ask you something? Daniel, of course. Maya, if I never worked again, would you still respect me? He froze. Her question wasn't about money, it was about worth. Daniel, Maya, I didn't mean to make you feel small. I just wanted us to spend more time. Maya cutting him off. No, Daniel, you wanted control. You wanted to see how far you could push me before I broke. Her words burned like fire. Daniel stood speechless, guilt flooding his chest. Maya, teary-eyed, I built a life with you, not under you. You asked me to give up a part of myself, and I did, but now, I don't even recognize the woman in the mirror. She walked away, leaving him in silence. That night, Daniel finally understood his experiment wasn't revealing her truth. It was exposing his own insecurity. Over the next week, Daniel tried everything to fix things, cooking her favorite meals, taking her out, even planning a weekend getaway. But Maya's smile never reached her eyes anymore. Something inside her had changed, a quiet distance he couldn't bridge. One evening, he came home to find Maya packing a small bag. Daniel shocked. Where are you going? Maya calmly. To stay with my sister for a while. I need space. Daniel, Maya, please don't do this. Maya, Daniel, you wanted to see how I'd react if I gave up my job. Well, now you've seen it. I lost more than a career. I lost myself. Daniel's voice broke. Daniel, I never wanted to hurt you. I needed to know you loved me, not what I could give you. Maya tearful. And you could have known that, Daniel, if you'd just trusted me. She picked up her bag, hesitated, then whispered, some experiments shouldn't be done on the people you love. And with that, she left. Days turned into weeks. The house that once overflowed with laughter now echoed with silence. Daniel tried calling, texting, no reply. At work, he couldn't focus. At home, he replayed every word, every glance, every choice that had pushed her away. He realized the cruel irony. In trying to test love, he had destroyed it. One night, unable to sleep, he found one of Maya's sketchbooks on the shelf. Inside was a drawing of them, holding hands, standing before that peaceful little house she'd once described. At the bottom, she'd written, love isn't proven by sacrifice, it's proven by trust. Daniel broke down. That was the moment he knew what he had to do. Daniel didn't sleep that night. The house felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by memories. Every corner whispered her laughter, every silence reminded him of her absence. He had thought he was in control of this experiment, but now he realized love was never meant to be measured like data, it was meant to be felt, and he had failed. The next morning, Daniel woke up with one thought: find her. He drove to her sister's house first, but Maya wasn't there. She needed time alone. Her sister told him she said she'd reach out when she was ready. Daniel left his number anyway. Days passed. No call. He started visiting the places Maya loved, the park near the art gallery, the small bookstore where she'd buy sketchbooks, even the coffee shop where they had their first date. Every time he saw a woman with dark hair and a soft scarf, his heart skipped, but it was never her. One evening, Daniel stopped by to check on Mrs. Evelyn, the elderly neighbor Maya used to help. The old woman smiled when she saw him, then sighed. Mrs. Evelyn, you look tired. Daniel, where's that lovely wife of yours? Daniel, she's gone for a while. Mrs. Evelyn knowingly, you did something foolish, didn't you? He smiled sadly. Daniel, I thought I could test love. I thought if she gave up her career for me, I'd know she was real. But I only proved I didn't trust her enough. Mrs. Evelyn nodded slowly, her voice calm and wise. Mrs. Evelyn, my late husband once told me, if you plant a seed and keep digging it up to check if it's growing, you'll kill it. Love's the same, dear. It needs faith, not proof. Her words sank deep into his heart. Daniel sat there quietly for a long time, staring at the fading light outside her window. That night, he decided to write to Maya. Not an email, not a text, a letter. He wanted her to feel his heart, not scroll past it. He began, "My dearest Maya, I thought love needed proof. I thought I had to test you to be sure your heart was true. But I see now, I was only testing my own fear. I asked you to give up your job, not because I didn't value you, but because I was scared I wasn't enough, without money, without success. I made my insecurity your burden, and I broke the trust we built. You didn't fail the test, Maya. I did. If you ever read this, know that I don't need you to come back. I just need you to know how sorry I am. You deserve a man who trusts your heart completely, and I pray, one day, I become that man." Daniel. He sealed the letter and left it at her sister's doorstep. Then, for the first time in weeks, he slept not peacefully, but honestly. A week passed, then two, no reply. Daniel accepted that maybe Maya had moved on, so he decided to move too, not away from her, but toward becoming better. He started volunteering at a community center, teaching basic finance to young adults. It gave him purpose again, not as an analyst, but as a human being. Then one evening, after class, he walked into a small art exhibition organized by the local gallery. He almost turned back until he saw a familiar painting on the wall, the small house. The same one she'd once drawn, the one surrounded by trees and sunlight. And in the corner, signed in neat handwriting, Maya Carter. Daniel's heart stopped. He turned, and there she was, standing near the window wearing a simple white dress, looking radiant and free. For a moment, he couldn't speak. Daniel softly, Maya turning.com, Daniel. They stood in silence. Then she smiled faintly. Maya, I got your letter, Daniel. I wasn't sure you would. Maya, I read it more than once. He took a breath. Daniel, I don't expect anything. I just wanted you to know I was wrong. Maya, you were. But I was wrong too. I let pride build a wall when I could have tried to understand you. They stood quietly again. The gallery music played softly in the background, a piano tune that sounded like forgiveness. Maya, smiling sadly, "You know what I realized while you were gone?" Daniel, "What?" Maya, "Love isn't about proving something. It's about growing through the mess. We both forgot that." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. Daniel, "So what now?" Maya, "Now. We start over. No experiments, no conditions, just truth." As they left the gallery together, Daniel felt something shift, not the old excitement of new love, but the quiet peace of real love. Love that had been tested, not by lies, but by pain, and survived. They didn't rush back into old routines. Daniel and Maya started with small things, coffee in the park, long walks without talking about the past, just feeling each other's presence again. Sometimes they laughed like before. Sometimes they sat in silence, letting the wind carry away what words couldn't fix. Daniel didn't try to buy her gifts or promise her the world. Instead, he listened, really listened, to her dreams, her fears, her art. And for the first time, he realized he'd never truly seen her before. He'd loved the idea of her, not the woman she was becoming. One Sunday morning, Daniel walked into Maya's new studio. She was painting, sunlight spilling across the canvas, her hands covered in color, her eyes alive. He watched her quietly before saying, "Daniel, you look happy." Maya, smiling, "I am. I finally feel like I'm living for myself." He nodded. Daniel, "Good. That's what I always wanted for you. I just didn't know how to say it without trying to control it." She put her brush down and looked at him. "Maya, you don't have to fix everything, Daniel. Sometimes you just have to be there." He smiled, tears in his eyes. "Daniel, I'm learning that now." He handed her a small envelope. Inside was a check, but not for her. It was a donation to a women's empowerment fund, the same one Maya had supported years ago. "Daniel, I used the last of my savings to help fund others who want to start over. You taught me something, Maya. When you empower others, you find yourself again." Her eyes glistened. "Maya, that's the man I fell in love with." Months passed. Their bond grew stronger, not perfect, but real. One evening, Daniel got an offer from a major firm overseas, a position that could change his career forever. But it would mean leaving Maya again, this time for years. He told her everything. Maya smiled gently. "Maya, you should go. You worked for this." "Daniel, I won't go without you." "Maya, I can't go. My work, my art, it's here." But that doesn't mean I'll stop loving you. He looked at her, realizing something he'd never felt before: trust. Daniel, then I'll stay, because this time I'm choosing love over fear. Maya took his hand. Maya, then we've both learned the lesson. Months later. The same park where it all began, Daniel and Maya sat under a tree, watching children play. Their life wasn't rich in money, but it was rich in meaning. They had learned what most couples forget. Love isn't tested through sacrifice, it's proven through understanding. Sometimes, we think testing someone's love will make it stronger, but true love doesn't need to pass a test. It just needs to be trusted. Daniel thought he'd lose Maya if she didn't give up her job, but he lost her when he stopped believing in her heart. And when he learned to love without conditions, he found her again. Love isn't about control. It's about courage. The courage to stay when life shakes the ground beneath you, and the faith to believe even when you're afraid. Because the real test of love is not what you ask someone to give up, but what you're willing to understand. Never test love with doubt. Test yourself with trust, because the strongest relationships are built not on proof, but on peace. Never test love with doubt. Test yourself with trust, because the strongest relationships are built not on proof, but on peace.